Hello, and welcome back to Key Comic Universe. Today I'm going to be talking about spec books, spec buying, and everything related to that. I'll go over definitions and explain my own thoughts on basically specking. So before I get into the video, please like, comment, and subscribe. If you're not already subscribed, I would highly recommend it. I've got more content coming, more videos, and it's going to be some pretty cool stuff. Plus, you'll be notified when they come out. Also, check me out on Instagram. That's where I talk more about comics. Also, where I do sales and post a lot about stuff that I just don't talk about on YouTube. So, yeah, let's get right into this. Okay, what is spec buying and what is a spec book? So, spec buying is typically referred to when someone's going to buy a book in relation to an upcoming film, TV show, or project where a character is supposedly going to come out in, or where a character can be reasonably expected to show up in, and the idea that you'll be able to make money, or just own the book before the book becomes too expensive. Typically, people will use spec buying as a way to get multiple copies of a book and be able to make money off of that book, either in a short term or long term. It's a way of, I would put, investing into the future of DC, Marvel, or any other group or publisher or franchise. Alright, that's my idea of a definition of it. If you disagree with my definition, let me know. That's just how I see it, and I hope that was clear and good way to describe it. So, now I'm going to talk about two different types of specking. The first one is before a project comes out, where rumors are either unconfirmed or where a character isn't really being specced on as much as, like, something that might be more concrete. And secondly is when things are confirmed or when the film is about to come out and where there's a higher expectation of something happening or character showing up, where it's either pretty much proven or where there's a very high probability. So, in the first one, it's unconfirmed rumors or just no one specking on book. This, in my opinion, is the best time to be buying just keys and first appearances, is before anything's fully confirmed. And I don't mean like where the TV show's unconfirmed. I usually don't spec when nothing's like fully confirmed, just like even the concept not confirmed. But when the TV show or movie is confirmed, but the cast, characters, etc. aren't, that's when I usually like to do a bit of spec buying myself, or picking up books where, I want to still be able to afford this book down the road before it gets too expensive. Like, I basically be in there before the book goes crazy. For example, as you can probably see, Silver Surfer issue number 3. I want to get that book before it gets too crazy, and there's already been speculation done with this book, but it's a dream book of mine for a very long time, and I was like, I am not going to miss out on this because I want this book for years, and I'm not going to be like that guy who's like, nah, I'm not going to buy it, nah. And then when it gets too expensive, then I'm going to be like, oh no, this sucks, because I have done that before myself in the past. But basically, when nothing's confirmed, that's usually when I like to get in, because once things start getting confirmed, that's when prices start to go crazy. Also, after things have been confirmed, look, and this is still in the unconfirmed section, because I'll explain that in a second, but when the show's confirmed and a lot of the characters are confirmed, but not every single thing, and still before release date, and let's say you have a villain or a hero that you think, hey, this character seems related to this, so I'm going to get this just in case. I did that with WandaVision, and I did get the speculation incorrect, but I did pick up the, what was it? Not the book I'm showing you, I don't have the book anymore, but the Champions book, First Appearance of Swarm. When I saw the Bee dude, I was like, oh, that's gotta be Swarm. And I went out and got that book, like, ASAP. Like, not off of eBay, but my LCS had it, so that was sick. But anyways, that didn't pan out, but having that kind of idea of, hey, I think that might be that can also pay off sometimes. Not all the time, but there can be a big payoff, and if other people start specking on the same thing, and it doesn't end up getting confirmed, there can be a little bit of held value there for a while, where you can go and cash in if you don't want to hold on to the book. Now getting into when things are confirmed. This typically means like trailers, or when the show's about to come out, show, movie, whatever it may be, and the character has been confirmed for it. I personally would not spec for that character to become something huge, or even go and buy their first appearance at that point. Typically, after a show trailer, or even after a show has been out, books start to lose value kind of quickly, and that value just goes away because a lot of people, either A, they don't think the character is going to be a big part of the MCU or DC universe again. B, maybe the character died in the show, so now it's like, or a movie, and it's like, oh, well, that character's not going to do anything anymore. Or it just seems very unlikely that they'll bring the character back. So that's usually like, just because of that risk, I would not be buying at that point. Because they're going to be paying full retail. I'm going to put it like this. Full retail, you're going to be paying top dollar for that book at that point. And after that's released, there's a decent chance, unless it's like a blue chip key, that book will start losing value. So that, in my opinion, is the worst time to buy. Don't be that person. And, I've done that before myself, and yeah, it sucks. It does suck, because then you're like, man, I just put in this huge investment, and nope. And I will give an example where the opposite did happen. For example, with Ultimate Fallout number 4, that book has only gained in value and popularity. Like, after Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse came out, that book has only been gaining more value. So, and right now, there's a little bit of a lull and a little bit of a loss in value, but not like where it was 5-10 years ago. It's still way up there. So just as a solid investment, a good book to pick up. So yeah. And I'm also going to talk about kind of like a little bit of lower value or less likely specs as well, because there are spec books out there that you can invest into. For example, this one, my Thor 440. Now, the new Thor Love and Thunder movie is coming out. And a lot of people a lot of people know at this point that there's going to be more than one Thor in that film. And an interesting spec of my idea is to go and pick up very affordable copies of the first appearance of Thor Corps, which is the Thor Corps, which is a team of different Thors who basically are a group of superheroes. So, in my opinion, not a bad spec for just super dirt cheap book right now. So, I mean, if you're looking for like a cheap spec, that's something I'm specking in right now. If I can find a book for $1 or $2 here and there, yeah. Basically dollar bin book that does go for a bit more on eBay, but not by very much. And like, for example, buying books after the spec. This is the third part, is after the spec is over, usually that's when the show has ended or movie is over. Typically after the hype has died down a bit, is it worth it to go out and search for other keys related to that character, even if that character might not have any projects announced yet? For example, with the Vision, they're really like the biggest thing after WandaVision was the possibility of, or I can't remember if it was confirmed at that point, but Wanda basically showing up in Doctor Strange, Multiverse of Madness. So my idea was, after WandaVision spec died down by a lot, I went and picked up some of the Vision keys because and mainly the minor ones. But my idea is, hey, it was like Marvel might use the Vision again in the future. Who knows? Might as well go and pick up some of the lesser valued ones, not even like huge ones, but some of the smaller ones, and put investment into those just in case. Because after a show ends, that's typically where the market's the weakest, where people are buying that book or books related to the movies, TV show, whatever, the least. So that's my second favorite time to buy. Before anything's confirmed and after something's been released and the market has died down. Those are my two favorite points to buy. and it's usually the best. Now, on to like another. I also want to talk about something else very briefly. Is early like when, and this happened recently, and I don't really know like the best way or best definition of this. I did talk about this briefly in one of my other videos, but I'm going to use this book as an example, and that is Daredevil number 25, first appearance of Leapfrog. Now, after the She-Hulk trailer came out, this character was briefly confirmed by an app that I think most people are aware of. But, anyways, the app said Leapfrog confirmed for She-Hulk, more or less. And, well, more than less. They basically said yes. But then, later on that same day, they said, no, this character is unconfirmed. So, a lot of people went out and bought this book. A lot of people spent big money. And, that might have been a solid spec, if it hadn't changed. But just always be aware that things do change. For example, like, just with what I just said. Like, it changed in one day. And with WandaVision, people thought, oh, it might be this version of the Vision's kids. And, it wasn't. It just wasn't that version. But, you just have to be aware. And you just have to make sure that you're buying in at a good price. Because if the price all of a sudden shoots up through the roof, like with Daredevil number 25 or the other spec book, it might be a good idea to be a little bit patient. If you're able to get in there within that first few minutes, I think even right now you would be fine. Or even first few seconds, however much time it took before things went crazy. I had to go back and look. But, if you were in early, you're probably doing fine right now. It's probably fine. But if you were like, a little bit late and you went in there and bought like some super expensive copy of Daredevil number 25, that sucks because, a few minutes later, things change. So, just my advice, once again, don't always buy into all the spec, even if you only buy into like what you believe in or what you enjoy, would be my advice. And also be patient on spec. Be patient on when things are getting released, on when things get hot. Just wait. And usually it pays off. Pays off most of the time. You're able to get in at a better price, at a better valuation. So, yeah, that's just kind of my advice with that. And finally, I want to talk about, is spec buying, is speccing on books good? Like, is it a good idea? Should you do it? In my opinion, if you're just collecting comics and you're only collecting what you enjoy, and you don't want to do it, don't do it. Just, if it doesn't interest you and it's not something that you're like, oh, I want to spec on such and such, then don't do it. Don't feel pressured to do that. Buy what you enjoy. But if you are looking to spec, sure. I don't see anything wrong with it. I honestly think that, it can be good for stimulating, discussions on books and stimulating the market on books. Now, I think there is a right and wrong time to buy. And I think that sometimes people can buy at a bad time and just lose a ton of money. But if you're patient, I think it's fine. I think you'll usually make money if you're doing it that way. And yeah, that's just kind of my thoughts on it. Honestly, is that, speccing, it's okay. It's okay. And also my own personal rule. And I don't think a lot of other people would follow this rule. But I like to set myself to a limit of what I spec on or how many copies of a book I buy. Number one, I don't like to be that guy who's like, oh yeah, I'm going to go out to like this book that just came out like 2 days ago. I'm going to buy all 40 copies my LCS has. No. But usually what I like to do is, take the lowest amount of risk and buy, if it's a book I really believe in or a book I really enjoy, I typically start off at 2 or 3 copies. Now, if that book's easy to find in the marketplace and the value is low enough, I will buy a lot more. But I'm not out there buying every single copy that exists or every single copy that's attainable. I just don't think, that's just not my way of doing things, honestly. But, hey, if it's your way of doing things, I understand it. I totally get it. I just prefer to, keep my bets a bit on the smaller side. But anyways, that's about it for this video. Those are my thoughts on specking, spec books. If I missed anything that, you'd like me to talk about, let me know. I probably missed a few things, or I probably just watched over something And, it does happen. But, hey, let me know what you guys think of the video. If I missed something, or if I didn't describe something well enough, let me know. Yeah, that's about it. Like, comment, and subscribe. That would be awesome. And I'll see you guys all in the next video, I hope.